don't beat yourself up. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have good days. But when things aren't going as planned, you need to do one thing. Adapt. Adapt the situation according to your capacities, guys. Today, I plan to attempt my overhead press max, or at least that was what I thought. Really looked forward to it, but I don't know. Something happened when I got to the gym today. I didn't feel the setup. It just wasn't my day. And that's okay, but it's still frustrating. So the max attempt will have to wait for a new day when I'm all in the zone. My body was there, but my mind was somewhere else. Don't know where that was, but it wasn't at the gym, I can tell you that. This is something that I want to talk about today. You're gonna have shitty days, whether it comes down to everyday life or just in the gym. But you just gotta make the best out of it, adapt the situation. Today I plan to work up to a 100 kg press, but as I said, I stopped at 80 kg because I already felt that today wasn't it. So it was unnecessary to even attempt it, but new energy, a new day. That's it, nothing else to it. But I still managed to get in a quite good workout, nevertheless. Squat felt good, really good actually. I mean, I still managed to work in a five doubles on 80 kilograms on the overhead press and a AMRAP on 70 kg, which ended up on 9 reps, I think, which is still quite good. So it still feels good because even when I had a shitty day at the gym scene, I still managed to work in my usual numbers with a tad of more struggle, that's all. Going back to the squat, it felt good, even today. I mean, on a good day, a normal day, it would have felt tremendously great actually, because today, when I didn't feel my drive, my energy as usual, I still got in a 10 reps on 120 kg, which is really optimal for me, especially at my current body weight and state in a caloric deficit. So, I'm confident. And I think a couple of factors has this better squat feeling to thank. My shoes and the core. I've been using and practicing my squats the latest months now in my squat shoes with elevated heels, just to try if I could pull out some greater benefits, but if I'm being honest, not really. I mean, I gave them a shot and maybe I still could give them more time, but why ignore something that already works great? That being my flats. During my previous squat session, when I had attempted the so-called big squat routine, I accidentally forgot my squat shoes and had to use my flat-soled deadlift shoes, which is almost like wearing no shoes at all. And I think also this is a big part of why my squat felt so good during that session as well as they did today. Because I went back to the flats, which always has worked for me. I just feel that I get way more power and connector from the ground itself when I use my flat shoes. It really is like day and night for me. I don't feel nearly as much power generation in my squat from the hole when I squat in elevated heels. It's really difficult. I mean, squat shoes like these are great and all, and can benefit a lot of people. They really can, but I think they're not for me, at least not right now. Because, as I said, the flat feels great. Feels great in my setup, feels great during the motion itself, and especially the explosiveness and the power from the hole. So yeah, back to the flats, I guess. And I want to address this. I believe elevated shoes will benefit a lot of people, but more specifically a lot of people with limited mobility in their ankles. I mean, I don't got flawless mobility in my ankles either, but good enough. And that's also why I won't benefit as much from them at this point. This is a lot of what it's all about. experiment. Try things that may or maybe not work for you. But you gotta try it, man. Moving on to the other thing I mentioned as an improving factor, the core. In one of my first talks, I talked a lot about how I wanted to improve and strengthen my core. Okay, listen. I got a lot of improvements, cause quite frankly it hasn't been that long since I talked about it. But I still feel improvements already. I still got a mild forward lean in my squats, but it still feels way more confident in the execution itself at the moment. Something I also have been noticing during the past time is also that my core it's more frequently activated. I actually feel more activation of it during some days, even when I don't work out. Going back to my main message of not letting frustration or just that you're planning a workout from time to time take over, don't worry about it, man. It happens. I mean, one thing why I'm confident and it still felt good today was because the problem wasn't that my squat form felt off or that my strength or endurance or any other physical factor felt off. They kinda didn't. It just was an off day for me. It was in my head, really. And you need your head as much as your body in the gym. You really do. And I think it's always worthwhile to think and analyze why it's happening. Why did you have such a bad day today? Could be sleep, could be nutrition, stress, psychosocial factors, or it just could be that you happen to have a bad day. That's all. For me, it just happened to be one of these days, guys. I really think so, because I have to admit I feel confident and really rested overall in my training, both in my body and mind right now. One last thing that crossed my mind, if we talk about adapting, especially adapt and adjusting your workouts, your program on days like this is you just have to do what you can. Don't sweat it. I mean, there's no point in pushing yourself to let's say 80-85% of your 1 rep max just because your program says so, even when you know your body or mind isn't capable of it today. I mean, I knew today I wasn't capable of working up to a 95, even 100 kg press, because I need full concentration, drive, and really the right mindset to even attempt, nevertheless achieve that lift. So I stayed on 80 kilograms, which still was a good point to maintain on. This is something I see at many beginners too. They lack concentration when they lift. They just lift the weights or swing it around like it's nothing to it. I mean, in the beginning you can do this, but I mean, why? Just like any other sport or activity for that matter, you need to concentrate to get the most out of it. Take a musician. You don't see them effortless and without any concentration both practice and play their instruments. No. They need to really concentrate to get that difficult solo or that fast riff or pattern to really perfect the performance itself. Same goes with lifting weights. Whether you lift for looks, strength, or just pure health, you need this. When it comes to concentration in the gym, a bodybuilder wanna concentrate to get that contraction, that control or maybe eccentric movement to really achieve, let's say, the pump. That sensation for the muscle. And the power lifter wanna concentrate on the lift itself, because there are a lot of underlying factors that needs to be taken into consideration when performing a compound lift like the squat or the bench press to really execute it as effective as possible. But yeah, that's some of my reflection points I wanna bring up on today's video. That's all for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. hit that like and subscribe button. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.